Okay, the message that I feel called to share is ready. And it's a personal story with a good lesson worth sharing. Yesterday, someone very close to me had a bit of a health crisis and reached out to me in the moment, but I didn't even get the message until several hours later. And when I got the message, I could feel the distress call, and I couldn't do anything about it. And why I couldn't do anything about it was because I was too emotionally involved in their well-being or their not well-being to participate. I was too emotionally and too attached to their outcome and to the possibility of the outcome not being the one I would want to be able to hold a steady focus of energy in the direction we really do want it to go. And as a healer, you have to know when to call that on yourself. It's a huge integrity line that you've got to maintain at all times. That is why it is a simple, guideline to never work on family, right? A lot of healers I know, the ones I respect very much, never work on, not never, but take it very, very seriously not to pry into the psychic, underpinnings of their children, right? It's like butting into their business in a way. You've got to hire out for that. And for me, this is especially tender because this person and I have a past life history where I got lost from him. So there's abandonment energy that has been dealt with, but it was re-triggered today. And I had to deal with my sudden fear that came up and acknowledge that for myself. And again, another opportunity there to clean up my energy or keep it clean, meaning this person's in their own personal crisis resolution phase. The last thing I need to do is bring in my muddy mix to that mix. So I had to detach from that even in that way and say, okay, I've got a kink in my flow now. Not only can I not be a healing agent and support element to you, which might be hard, right? Because that's my profession, that's my strong suit, that's my skill set, that's my strength. And that would be my expectation if I were able to stay detached, because I'm a first responder. Everyone in my family knows that I'm the fire extinguisher person, right? But also I had to leave my story out and not even share with him that I was having my own emotional flare-up. So then I had to hire out for myself and get some help to clean up my energy because I felt a kink in my flow. And I know that as a high vibrational person, as a fast moving individual, energetically speaking, things transform for me very, very quickly. Things expand for me very, very quickly. So in that vein, in honor of that, I had to address my kink in my energy like that, like right away. So within 5 or 10 minutes, I phoned a friend and I was like, okay, I'm having a little bit of a response. Can we work on me, right? And then I also phoned the right practitioner for my beloved. And that was fabulous because I could hand it over in full faith that this person who loves me dearly is going to take exquisite care of this person whom I love dearly. So it's always good to have resources. It's so good to have a solid Rolodex of practitioners. I have a really solid Rolodex of practitioners, and I always know who to send to. And that's something that I really leverage in my work, and I'm so grateful for it. The lesson for me, though, was so multifold, right? It was like, know when to call it, that you can't participate. And don't shame yourself for that. It's okay to not be able to be the service provider or the fix-it person or a participant in this, no matter how bad it looks and how dire and urgent it looks. Like, if you can't help extinguish this fire, then don't be part of it, because you are only going to make it worse. Really. It's very binary in that way. You can only be in love and bounty frequency or in scarcity frequency, one or the other, and you never turn it off. In fact, I was speaking with a goddess today who, in this moment in time for her, she's under a bit of a shroud of self-questioning, questioning whether the evidence that she's seeing today is reliable. You know, there are new people coming into her world to support financial growth, to support business growth, new opportunities, new contracts, right? New opportunities, really. And the question that is coming up for her just as quickly, if not before the joy and the gratitude comes up for her, is this reliable? Is this safe? Is this gonna stay? What is all of that? That's scarcity, right? That's the lack of trust. That's the lack of excitement, adventure, abundance, full presence to what's here, right? That's fear, scarcity, doubt. I'm really enjoying the word scarcity right now as a way to really clean up our energy and keep a tab on our energy, right? We have such a beautiful wealth of emotions, right? There's fear, there's helplessness, there's hopelessness, there's devastation, there's shock, I guess trauma's not an emotion, but there's disappointment, there's contentment, there's relief, there's frustration, right? So many more, by the way. Note how many there are to describe scarcity-minded, less optimal emotions, right? And so few to describe pleasure, surrender, relinquishment, joy, settling, relief, contentment, appreciation, recognition, acknowledgement. And these are hardly emotions. Half of them are just states of thinking, right? I'm just noting that. So in this vast world of emotional titles we have, which is kind of wimpy actually now that I've recounted them, we also have this very simple binary way to cut the confusion in looking at that vastness of the emotional milieu that might be going on at this moment. In any one given moment, you can check yourself, clean up your energy, as my beautiful Mason Smith mentor likes to say, and ask yourself, am I in expansion or contraction? Am I in bounty or scarcity? Right? I love those simple binary terms. Yeah, you could say, am I in love or am I in fear? I don't want to say fear. I don't want to downplay fear. I feel like fear is very useful. It isn't a place you want to stay, but it is a wake-up call about a lot of things, namely scarcity. How am I selling myself short? How am I selling my dreams short? How am I putting a lid on the joy potential that's wanting to flourish and bubble up, right? So as she's asking these very legitimate questions, can I trust this? Is this safe? Are these people going to stay in my life? Is this reliable? Is the money going to come? Is it going to keep coming? All those things. The opportunity here is for her to really take inventory of where she's directing her focus. So instead of shaming all those feelings, which are legitimate on a 3D scale, right? Let's take a step back and decide where we want the energetic focus to be, right? Yes, it's legit to doubt. However, is that going to help you feel more stable in your energy or more unstable in your energy, right? Unstable. So what can you do when you're feeling doubt? Let's take a step back and bring in just a focus redirection. And here's an option for you. Ask yourself, what do you want to feel? Or the what if game. What if this were a sure thing? I can feel relief in that already. What if this were a sure thing? And then ask that. What's next? If this were a sure thing, what would that feel like? Not what evidence would, the universe provide to show me that, but what would it feel like if it were a sure thing? I would feel relief in this very moment. I would feel optimism. I would feel excitement. If you can identify emotions, I think that's a really, really, really powerful place to go, because emotions really are like little magnets that are drawing in an experience on the 3D plane, right? So, hello. Good to see ya. Another option is to, if you're really frazzled and you're like, ask yourself, what do I want in this situation? Obviously you want relief, right? That's just an easy go-to. Just keep that in your back pocket. Whenever you catch yourself with a kink in your energy, remember the relief button, the relief card, pull it out. Okay, what does relief look like? What does relief feel like? How do I want to see this situation, right? I want to feel settled in my energy. I want to feel like I can trust what I'm seeing. I want to feel like even if this isn't a sure thing, that I'll know what to do when it's time to do it. Right? Can you feel energetically how that's just, okay, yes. So if you can get yourself there, what you're really doing is you're unscattering your energy, you're bringing it in, and you're honing your focus. And the frequency that you are holding now, literally, like the energy that's emanating off of your body, which is a magnet, is now much more harmonized to the positive outcomes that you really want. Okay? And for this particular goddess, she finds herself in self-questioning a lot of the time. And that's unsettling a lot of the time. So a quick way to kind of, clean up the energy on this is to, and this analogy came through as I was tuning into her, and I'm just so thankful that it came through in this way. I've delivered this message how many times? You've probably heard this very message how many times, but this analogy was for her, and it was so beautiful. I really wanted to share it, and it was for me to receive and remember for myself. So here I am giving it to you. See the world that you are in. See the landscape of your now moment, your next few minutes, the next month, year, whatever, as if it's just a landscape in front of you. And the whole fullness of the air is just filled with these microscopic seeds. Like the size of poppy seeds. They're tiny, they're microscopic, they're invisible. But the air right now is just full of seeds, full of seeds. Those seeds represent potentialities. Those seeds represent possible outcomes on any and everything. Isn't that great? And your focus is likened to a fire hose. And that analogy came through loud and clear because there's so much power and current and force and volume in that water hose, right? Where are you pointing that water hose? That water hose is carrying more than just water. That water hose is carrying all the nutrients, all the fertilizers, all of the light, the water, the growth fuel for these seeds. right? That water hose is your focus. So the question is, where are you pointing that thing? Right? And you can scatter the emissions of a water hose pretty easily, right? And what will happen if it is nourishing all these random seeds, right? You're gonna have shitty things sprouting up and fantastic things sprouting up, and that's just creating a really messy zoo of an outplay, right? What if we hone the focus, we bring in that powerful energy emissions of that water hose and just focus it in the direction we absolutely want it to go, right? I want to feel like my business is growing. I want to feel like I've got so much growth happening. I want to feel joy. I want to feel aliveness. I want to feel like this is an adventure that's exciting. I want to feel surprise, right? So let's point that water hose that way, because it is always on. It's always emitting those nutrients, those fertilizers. Hello, goddess. Right? So if we see our focus and the power of our focus in that analogy, it becomes very clear, very fast, that we are powerful, powerful, powerful beings. And we got to get a lid on it. So that's the message. It was beautiful, and I, as it was coming through, was thanking her out loud for this visual, because it was coming to me for me as much as it was for anyone else. And I am absolutely attending to that. And you know what I'm seeing as the, I'm seeing chia seed pudding. You know how they're just gelatinous seeds suspended in this, right? The ethers of whatever the pudding is contained in. That's what I'm seeing in my field, right? Let's make this tangible, people, because really, when we talk about energy, so many of us get lost in the, well, I can't see it now, and this just feels so what-ify and whimsical and right? Let's really make it tangible. Let's bring the mechanics of manifestation to light so that we aren't mystified by this, so that it's really, really clear, because it's time, ladies. You're ready. You're sick of your own shit, right? You're ready to start moving things a little bit faster. You're ready to start seeing things create a little bit more deliberately and clearly. That's what this is about. So let's support each other and make magic. Thanks for listening. I love you. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.